Hey, welcome back to Common Sense OT Security, where we approach OT security topics and problems through the lens of common sense, which often yields surprisingly new insights. Today, I'll show you a couple of sneak peeks into the new artificial intelligence extensions of the OTbase OT asset management system. And before I do so, let me just caution you or calm you there. When we are talking about AI in the context of OT asset management, this has nothing to do with better threat detection. The AI will not pretend to identify the cyber attacks in your network traffic. It's not all about that. And the other concern that you might have, oh, does that mean that all my secret OT configuration details go into the cloud, into the public internet? No, that is also not the case. So we are aware of all the various problems that come with AI, at least in its present form, and everybody understands it's a field that is rapidly evolving. And we thought hard about the question, since AI is obviously useful in many areas, how can we leverage that for an OT asset management system? And I think you will like the answer that we came up with. So the way that we use AI in OTbase in the next version, so again, this is a preview, will not disclose any of your confidential information. We are using AI to gain additional context to your various issues that you might have in your OT asset inventory. And the first, and I think a very striking example, is when you think about vulnerabilities. It's not about vulnerability prioritization. You don't need AI for that. So when you think about arriving at a plan how to approach your hundreds of thousands vulnerabilities, which are typical in an OT environment, you don't need AI, my friends. Seriously. So you can do that using an algorithmic approach. And we will most likely discuss that in an upcoming webcast. So what you can use AI for in vulnerability management is something completely different, to give you context on a given vulnerability. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this is the vulnerability workspace in OTbase, where you see in this tab, so there are various different tabs for remediation, for individual devices. But now we're looking at a table that lists all the CVEs that affect our installed base. And when you do a drill down into any of these CVEs, then you get something like this, what we call the vulnerability profile. And the vulnerability profile always contains the basic parameters of a given CVE, such as the base cause, severity, and the description. In this case, for this pretty important vulnerability, it says it only includes one sentence. And then it comes with a shit ton of links. And certainly the problem is now for the person who is supposed to make sense out of that and devise a mitigation plan. That person knows, okay, now I have to do some additional digging and figure out what this is all about, etc. They might just click on 10 or 12 of these links to figure out what this is. And basically it's about Bluekeep, that infamous vulnerability from 2019, which you find still pretty often in OT environments, because you will find outdated operating systems there. So that doesn't give you a lot, or to put it another way, that means that person will have to spend a couple of hours figuring out what this is all about. And this is where the AI extension comes in. So in the vulnerability profile, you're going to see this new section here that is called AI context. And when I open this, guess what you see? Well, that's like an essay, that's like a Wikipedia entry that is actually useful. So it comes with a much more verbose description, and you can imagine how that works. So the AI has done all the legwork for you. It has assembled all the important bits and pieces that it could find on the internet in relation to that particular topic, and puts it all in a very nice, easy, digestible format, so that the SOC analyst, as an example, has much more to work with. So it comes with an overview, it comes with a technical description, mitigation strategies, apply security patches, blah, 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 disable RDP, even with those script snippets here. So this gives you an idea what the AI can do for you, in our opinion, in a very interesting way that really saves you a couple of hours. And that's what basically OTbase is all about. It doesn't come with any hidden magic. It just makes you more efficient, my friends. And so we think that's a very good extension here, because usually the description that you will find in the NIST National Vulnerability Database is not good enough. It's not verbose enough. So you will need to get some additional context, and this is how that works. Either follow all those links, or you can let the AI do the work. And certainly we suggest that you do the latter in the interest of saving a couple of hours of your precious time. So this works for any vulnerability that we have listed here. And just to give you an idea what's happening behind the scenes, this is prefetched in because I have already opened it, okay? So once that you did load the AI context, OTbase will save it, so that next time you or one of your coworkers wants to see the AI context, it is not pulled freshly from the AI, because that costs money. Even though it's only a couple of pennies, but well, I mean, why do that investment when it's actually not necessary? However, you can always refresh that that insight here by clicking on the refresh button. You see the timestamp here. So that was that particular entry was fetched on May 9th. And if I have reason to assume, well, this might be outdated, then I can just click on refresh. When you look at anything, at any vulnerability where somebody did not already fetch the AI context, it looks like this. So it simply contains this button load. And then I can fetch it freshly from the internet, from the AI. And that might take, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds. And then you have to sit and wait, but it will most likely be quicker than you going through all those links manually and trying to figure out what this vulnerability is all about. Just to give you an idea on what's happening behind the scenes, the only thing that the AI gets from you is the CVE identifier. So you just tell the AI, or tell me everything you know about CVE 2020-0646. And obviously that doesn't yield any secret insight or information that an attacker could exploit. So that is very neutral data point that doesn't give an attacker anything, because you could do the same query for a vulnerability that doesn't even affect you. Right, so certainly it doesn't make a lot of sense, but the AI doesn't know, the attackers don't know, and so this is how that works. You can always request this additional AI context by clicking the button. When you think there might be newer insight available, you can click on refresh. And so just to give you a couple of other ideas how that works, let's just uncheck the KEV box. And let's look at this guy here. This has to do with Rockwell products, which might be more interesting for you. Again, so the NVD description doesn't give us very much. And the AI context tells a much more verbose story, mitigation strategies, additional recommendations, technical description. So this is something that a SOC analyst, as an example, would certainly be much happier with, because they don't need to make up their mind of if this is even important or worthwhile mitigating. And this now becomes a matter of seconds. And it even gets better, my friend. So I think now you have an idea how this contextualization works for vulnerabilities. But OTbase goes much further, because it will also give you context on products, hardware products and software products. And you may wonder, why would that be a good thing to have? It's very simple. OTbase already gives you the technical description or the product description of a given product that you are using. It also gives you the vendor link, right? So all of that is already included in OTbase. Well, but sometimes you might want to know more, and then the AI context gives you what you're looking for, especially, are there any known problems with this particular product? And think about this not in the context of cybersecurity, because guess what? Those automation products, they do every now and then come with their own bugs. They are not security related, but they are functional bugs. So some product might overheat in certain conditions. There might be incompatibilities with other products. And that is what you want to know, ideally in advance, before you experience such a problem in your environment. And this is where, again, the AI context is very good at, to make you aware of some, so for example, connectivity problems with the Siemens S7-1200, tells you, there are some issues, Profinet communication drops. So just consider a maintenance engineer who has seen some connectivity issues with the S7-1200, and now they would be able to quickly see, that could be a known problem for this particular product. So then it also informs you about replacement parts, the 1200. If you want to replace it with a newer product, here is what the vendor suggests. Okay, so very, very important information. Let's do the same thing for Rockwell products. So this is the 1756 EN2T. Let's check out the AI context. And again, this is prefetched, but as you have seen earlier, if it wasn't, in 20, 30 seconds, you will see something like this. Replacement parts, so known problems, firmware vulnerabilities, hardware failures. Well, isn't that interesting to know? So there are known problems with failures. And that is something that a maintenance engineer obviously would be very interested in. 7056 ENBT, I would imagine everybody of you knows about this product. AI context, known problems and vulnerabilities, solutions and fixes, replacement parts. How cool is that? Okay, so I think that is a tremendous time saver, especially for the maintenance specialists. Finally, we do the same thing with software products. So just to get you oriented, we are in the inventory here in OTbase. Previously, we were in devices. Now I have switched to software here in the sidebar. And let's just check out something like WinCC, popular SCADA product from Siemens. And let's see what the AI tells us. Overview, problems and solutions, known problems and vulnerabilities, security patches, compatibility fixes. So guess what? You know, they're listing some compatibility issues here and how to fix them. Like this one here, compatibility problems with newer Windows operating systems. Wouldn't you be interested to know about those, right? That could save you many, many hours if you would know right away that there are known issues in that area. And then finally, let's also look at a Rockwell product. Let's just check RS links, classic. The same thing here, AI context, no problems, solutions and workarounds, additional resources. I mean, how cool is that? For every software product, as all the other products, you also get this list of installations. Like I could see right away where those devices are, and additional data on how long they haven't been used, etc. So I think this is going to boost your efficiency, especially when you think about understanding, analyzing vulnerabilities, and especially when you just forget about cybersecurity for a second and think about engineering and maintenance, because the AI can quickly inform you about known problems, known issues, like compatibility issues. And this might save you many, many hours of doing the legwork yourself, diving deep into the problem in your testbed, etc. So therefore, in our opinion, that's a great use of artificial intelligence. And what I particularly like is that you're not giving away any confidential data. So certainly that would be a big concern if you would have to dump your configurations into the AI. Oh, then that could be exploited. You don't want that. OTbase inventory in the enterprise version is completely on-premise, and we make sure that it stays on-premise. Okay, finally, how does this work behind the scenes? How is it configured? That's very simple. Presently, or in the upcoming version of OTbase, we will support the two major AI providers. One of them is XAI, also known as Grok, and the other is OpenAI, also known as ChatGPT. So the way you configure this is in the administration. I'm using a screenshot here because I didn't want to give away my API key. So you first decide which AI platform you want to use. In our experience so far, Grok delivers the better quality. That doesn't have to stay that way, because this is a very dynamic field where you can see improvements happening week by week. So you have a choice in here in the drop down between XAI and OpenAI. For both, all you need to do is you obtain an API key. For that, you have to register an account with the respective provider, and then you enter your API key here. And that's it. You click on save, and then you're done. Okay, and then OTbase takes care of everything else. So it formulates the correct query strings, and then it assembles the results, and then which I think is a very important part, it saves the results. So the next time you open that hardware product profile or CVE profile, you see what has been discovered before from the AI. Okay, so that is basically the brief walkthrough through this new functionality that we believe will be very important. And I think it's also interesting because it shows that when it comes to AI in the context of OT security, don't just imagine, oh, this is about better detection of attacks or vulnerabilities. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. And it's also... I wouldn't even advise on even trying to use it for threat detection at this point in time, despite the fact that we don't do any threat detection. But what you should consider is that we are presently in a stage when it comes to AI where the results are surprisingly good. However, they are not reliable. Keep that in mind. Sometimes I have to tell you, the AI just tells you nonsense. It just lies. It's just hallucinating. And we have seen that a couple of times. So my point is, you don't want to bet the farm on the AI at this point in time, right? So you should always consider, yeah, it looks reasonable, but is it really? So you might need to check a couple of details. And in the way that we're using it for providing some context, usually that is easy to spot. Sometimes you would see, oh, wait a second, this particular vulnerability, no, that doesn't, that's off, right? So it totally doesn't match what I see on NIST, etc. So those flaws are easy to spot. And it basically tells you sometimes the AI is just hallucinating. I'm confident that this will go away over time because these beasts, they're getting better and better week by week. They are learning all the time. But this is just something that you should keep in mind, and therefore you don't want to completely rely on the AI for making informed decisions. The way that we suggest to use the AI is to boost your efficiency. So to save you all the legwork from assembling the context. So just think about something like, well, these known problems in certain hardware products like drives. I could have also shown you examples for drives like power flexes, where you see, there's a known problem with overheating, etc. That obviously the AI is collected from some engineering discussion forums, and that is going to save you many hours of time. So this is how we are going to use the AI in the future, or make it available for our customers to use. And I think very interesting new use case that we are touching here, and we'll see how our customers will like it. Okay, that's what I wanted to chat about. Any questions? No, we don't have any questions at this point. So I just leave it at that and see you next week, same place, same time.